Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Borough Hall, to the Borough President's Hanukkah event. Thank you so much for attending. We are so delighted to have you. There's some more chairs on the way. You're going to be able to be seated in a couple minutes. We have a great program, and I'm going to start with introducing the Master of Ceremonies here tonight, Rabbi Joseph Potasnik from the Fire Department.
Thank you, Abe. Thank you all for being here tonight. Let me say to all of you that tonight's celebration will be different than all of the others. The reason is that we come here with heavy hearts. We come here and we remember those who lost their lives in a tragic fire in Sheepshead Bay. 4 people are dead. 3 people are fighting for their lives. So tonight we remember them. At the same time, we renew our pledge to continue to teach people all about safety. That sacred lighting has to be safe lighting. And I would also add that there was a phone call made today, which I want to share with you. I spoke to someone at Mis Askim. Many of you know that's an exemplary organization that helps people in a time of need. And I was told that they received a phone call from one person who said, "What can I do to help the Azam family?" The person who made that call was Mr. Sassoon, who lost 7 children in a fire 2 years ago. Just imagine your heart is broken, and yet at the same time, you reach out to those who are hurting so deeply. So we come here tonight, we remember, and we renew. It is a great honor to introduce to you someone who is always there for all of us. We have stood together in mosques, in churches, in synagogues, times of tragedy and times of triumph. The middle letter of the Torah is the Vav. It connects one part to the other. We are fortunate to have a borough president who also connects with all of us. Would you please welcome Borough President Eric Adams.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask us all to stand and just have a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. I believe that there is nothing more tragic than a mother burying her children. And we witnessed that early this morning, as well as witnessed that with the Sassoon family several years ago. And our heart goes out to the family members, part of our community. The family was described as members of the Syrian Jewish community. We know her as a member of the community we call Brooklyn, New York, and America. A family has been devastated by such a loss. We want to renew our call at the start of this Hanukkah celebration in calling on the city and the state of New York to build a burn unit here in the borough of Brooklyn. I allocated over $3 million to this unit. There is no reason the 3rd largest city, if we were an independent city in America, does not have a burn unit. When members of this community experience a fire-related or other burn-related injuries, they have to leave this borough and go somewhere else. That is not acceptable. We committed ourselves after the loss of the Sassoon family members that we will give all that was needed to ensure that this burn unit was built. Yet, we have failed to do so. That failure must stop. Families in Brooklyn during these emergencies should not have to go to another borough to find the aid that they need in immediate capacity after a devastating issue such as this. And then we ask ourselves, here in the borough of Brooklyn, We like to consider Brooklyn to be the Tel Aviv of America. Over 1 million Jews live in New York City, and almost 500,000 live in the borough of Brooklyn alone. When you think about what Brooklyn represents to the Jewish community, and as we look at something as devastating like this, we could only take our hats off to the men and women of the New York City Fire Department. Their ability to run towards the flames while we flee away from them. Understanding the danger that is lost in the number of men and women who have lost their lives fighting fires throughout the history of this city, we commend them and we thank them. But you have to ask yourself, when you lose family members like this, your children, your babies, you say, how do you go on? How do you go on, and how do you find refuge? How do you continue to find some level of normalcy in this new norm that your babies are no longer with you? That question marks gets straightened to an exclamation point on this day. Think about what we're celebrating today. Hanukkah, the festival of lights. At the heart of the story is that there was only enough oil to light one lamp. But miraculously, the oil lasted for several days. That oil is reflective of who we are as human beings. It doesn't matter what we go through and how devastating the experience is. It doesn't matter if it's September 11th and our center of trade is attacked and collapsed. It doesn't matter if a person strapped a bomb on himself and walked through the pathway of 42nd Street attempting to hurt others. It doesn't matter if every day bullets carve highways of death and take innocent lives of people. It doesn't matter that countless number of young men and women are losing their lives on the fields of Afghanistan or on the street of Albany Avenue. It doesn't matter. In spite of all of that, we find the oil inside ourselves to last another day because we are made of the best stuff on earth, and that's Americans. So it doesn't matter how devastating this was. The Sassoon family found enough oil to light the oil in the families who we lost today. That's the goal of Hanukkah. Hanukkah is not merely some insignificant holiday that's acknowledged during the December month of our year. It's the coming together of the holidays that we all celebrate as Christians and as Jews. Not how do we keep our light burned, but how do we light the candles in the hearts and lives of others? So as we move through the day, let's all borrow from Miss Sassoon. Let's reach out to that neighbor who has lost a loved one, who is going through a devastating time in their life, that person who is feeling as though they are ready to give up on life. Let's relight their flame. Let's allow our oil to light the oil and the candles of all those who will come into our lives. Not only must we light their light, we must see the light in them. Far too often we are so inundated with all of the pains and all of the horrors and all of the uncertainties that life has to offer, instead of taking a moment and realize how blessed we are. So on this Hanukkah day, as we light the candle today, as someone shared with me earlier this week, let's remove the O from God and place it with an E. Instead of I gotta go to my job, I gotta take the train, I gotta pay this bill, let's say I get to go to a job. I get to take a train. I get to pay a bill. I get to do who and what I am, how blessed I am that I get to do it. I get to love my fellow Brooklynite. I get to love my fellow American. I get to love my fellow human being. That is where we are, and that's what this day reminds us of. In our prayers tonight, let's think about the loss of this family and how impactful it is. As we continue to try to find logic and reason, let's find that in each other. And I want to thank all those who came here today as we dedicate not only this important day of Hanukkah, but we acknowledge the lives of those who were lost. And I want to thank particularly the rabbis and the chaplains who we are going to honor. These men have been the moral and social conscience of our entire city for so many years. So many funerals, so many devastation, responding to calls of service throughout the night, being there to make sure that we all receive the level of condolences that we need at a particular time. And we want to show them how much we respect them and love them. So I'm going to ask my staff to bring the proclamation. The first proclamation goes to, and I can't say tonight my good friend, because these are all my good friends. I've known them for so many years. But the first will go to my good friend, Dr. Alvin Cass, NYPD Chief Chaplain. Rabbi Cass is the longest serving chaplain in the history of the NYPD. Although he was born in Jersey, we adopted him in Brooklyn. He has served for over 50 years as a chaplain for the NYPD, including being named as the department's first ever 3-star chief as chief chaplain by Commissioner O'Neill. He's also a committed academic, having served in professionalship roles across many colleges and universities, and we want to take time out to thank you. Thank you, Rabbi Cass, for your service and commitment.
Thank you so much. I have to tell you that this is a very special honor for me for 2 reasons. First of all, Eric, when I'm honored by you, it's mishpucha. You know what mishpucha is? We're all part of the family of the NYPD, and all of us are very proud of you. You are a cop who made it to the top, and there's been a consistency in your whole career. You've been a fighter and a champion for social justice, and the idea that the real mishpucha is not just one organization, but all of mankind. That saying, one Brooklyn, one world, that's really what it's all about, and I know that's how you've committed your career. And this is a special evening for me, too, to be honored in the company of Rabbi Joe Potasnik and Rabbi Tzvi Berkowitz. You know, there's a story about a woman whose husband had a boat, and he invited a lot of friends over to the boat, and they all called him Captain. One day she tried to cut him down to size, and she said, you know, it's nice that our friends call you a captain, but the question is, are you a captain by captains? Well, when I'm in the company of Joe Potasnik and Tzvi Berkowitz, I have the feeling that I'm a rabbi by rabbis. And they are rabbis whose very special brand of service as chaplains has been devoted to bringing people together. That's what they are all about. I meet people from the MTA constantly. And the very first question that they all ask me is, do you know Rabbi Berkowitz? And of course I say very proudly, I certainly do. And they go on to detail how he helped them with this problem and he helped them with that problem. He's a man who's a problem solver. And Tzvi, you've got a tremendous reputation, and you've created a wonderful career for yourself and a matchless Shem Tov. And of course, Joe Potasnik is one of the most famous rabbis in history. He's a man who's worked in broadcasting, as executive vice president of the New York Board of Rabbis, and as a fire chaplain, have been a wonderful avenue for him to reach people of every race, religion, color, and creed. And he has surmounted so much strife and so much controversy and brought so many people together. Rabbi Potasnik, your career has been a real Kiddush Hashem, and all of us are very much indebted to you. You know that it's been asked, why do Jews eat latkes on Hanukkah? And the answer is because on miracles you can't live. The Talmud teaches, Ein somchim al hanisim. You're not allowed to depend upon miracles. Well, these rabbis, Rabbi Berkowitz and Rabbi Potasnik, have made their own miracles. They've been forces for good, and they have helped bring people of every race, religion, color, and creed closer together. And I dare say there's another rabbi sitting together with us here tonight, Rabbi Michael Miller, who is my rabbi. He's been a powerful leader of New York City's Jewish community as the chief executive of the Jewish Community Relations Council. And as such, he's helped to unify this great metropolis of ours, and all of us are so thankful to you for your continuing and unceasing efforts. This event is taking place so close to the end of Hanukkah. The Hanukkah Menorah is reached the penultimate point, and God knows we need a lot of light. There was sadness, as we've heard today, but there's a lot of sadness in the world. There's sadness here at home, there's sadness abroad, and at this time of the year, from the point of view of nature, the days are so short and the darkness is so long. The darkness often seems poised to overtake the light. But the real meaning of Hanukkah is the capacity of human beings to affirm before themselves and before Almighty God that by our own actions we can create our own light. We can create our own miracles. And as long as we have public servants like Eric Adams, and we have rabbis like Joe Potasnik and Tzvi Berkowitz, I think we can be confident that no matter what happens in the world, we can be sure that in spite of everything, out of the shadows of the night, the light is going to roll again, and there's going to be daybreak everywhere. Thank you very much.
We're going to pause to have Rabbi Freeman. We're going to do the lighting of the menorah with some of my other colleagues that are here. So, Rabbi Freeman.
I would like to have a few of our electeds to please join us. I see Councilmember David Greenfield. Please come and join us to light the menorah. I see Councilman-elect Kalman Yeager. Rabbi Potasnik. Rabbi Miller. Rabbi Berkowitz.
All right, we're going to recite the blessings together. Borough President Adams, you just hum. break the gender barrier, Judge Levine. Judge Spodek here. Judge Fryer. Judge Fryer. Okay, you too. You got one more. One more. Who else? Now, where's Rabbi Froelich? Rabbi Froelich. Rabbi Glock. Yeah, together. Travis. So who else? Chief Travis. Chief Secreto, Chief Travis. Although with the Jews, everyone's a chief. I know. Excellent. All right, thank you.
We want to continue with our proclamations. Next proclamation goes to a rabbi that I have known for almost 30 years now, Rabbi Harry Berkowitz. Rabbi Berkowitz originally hails from Manchester, but we adopted him in Brooklyn. Everyone comes to Brooklyn. He has called Brooklyn home for over 3 decades. He received a bachelor's degree at Yeshiva College and a master at Yeshiva University in 1972. For 42 years, the rabbi has served as a spiritual leader in over 30 years in the New York City Transit Police, as well as now with the Transit Authority. We want to thank him for all he has done for making this a great borough and a great place, and for his service that he has provided all of us in the borough of Brooklyn and throughout the city of New York. Thank you, Rabbi.
Eric, thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank Robert Cass for being so kind about not telling the truth about me. And God bless you. And to, of course, my dear colleague Joe for many years. But first, I'd like to introduce the person that may be being able to be here. My mother, Mrs. Judy Berkowitz, 93 years old birthday. And what's unique, my mother's a Holocaust survivor, and I was not born in Manchester. I was born in a town called Famagusta, Cyprus. If you heard the song, I Left My Heart in Famagusta. not so, maybe anyway. But my mother, actually what I like about my mother has been working in the White House for the past 45 years. How do you like that? Did you know that? Oh, I forgot to tell you, White House Nursing Home in New Jersey. My mother was the activities director there, and now she's on the way out to retirement. So, great to have you with us. I'm blessed to have my mother with me. But really, not to take too much time, there are so many people I can be very thankful to. I'd like to first acknowledge some of my team. Brenda Robertson is here from the chaplain's office. Gail Chandler, God bless you. And Father George, where's Father George? Father George is here as well. But let me just say something about Hanukkah and the MTA. I've had a relationship with Eric almost, 39 years, Eric? I knew that Eric was going to become one day a rabbi, but it looks like he changed his mind and became a borough president. So let me tell you, the way you speak, I wouldn't be surprised. But God bless. Eric and I have had a wonderful history together going way back, and we were involved in some interesting situations involving the transit police, and Eric and I became very close friends, which, thank God, he's been blessed to be now the chaplain for the entire borough of Brooklyn, to say the least, in every sense of the word. But speaking about Hanukkah and what this whole event represents, Hanukkah comes from there are many explanations to Hanukkah, but really the word means dedication. But in Hanukkah, you also have the word grace, chen, graciousness. The whole idea of what every human being should do, seeing that you're born, give thanks to God and say, what can I do to make life better, not only for myself, but for other people as well, regardless of where they come from, etc. That's the dedication part. But by the same token, you have to show grace to everyone you deal with. I'd like to also extend a thank you to my wife for 45 years. She's still talking to me, thank God. 24/6. Mindy, where are you, Mindy? And to one of my daughters is here, Sari, and my 4 grandkids over here, with many more, God bless them. But I also like to introduce the people who were able to make it work for me, beginning with Eric, by the way. I'd like to acknowledge, first of all, Anita Miller, who's the Labor Relations Head of the MTA headquarters. Anita. And of course, to my dear friend John Creasy, who's the Vice President of Occupational Health Services, and Brian Richardson, Director of Work-Life Services for the MTA. Now, for many of you who may not know, what makes the MTA wonderful is because the MTA emphasizes what each individual member of the 70,000 team members, each one of them is what I call the MTA, most trusted asset. Without people doing what they're doing, you can never achieve and give the city the economic engine we have over here. So I really like to take my hats off to the tremendous amount of work that the people of the MTA, all 70,000, including the families who support them, for the great support to give us to make the city the economic engine of the world so that each one of us can get to work, do what we got to do, visit the sites. And again, I want to thank my dear friend Aby. By the way, Aby is a member of our chaplain's team as well, and from the MTA. And I really want to thank all of you for doing what you're doing. And God willing, I want to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah. Keep on dedicating, and God willing, God will keep on blessing this city for the great city that it is. Thank you very much, and God bless.
And our final proclamation goes to just a good friend. Rabbi Potasnik made it clear earlier, just a countless number of times some form of issue has taken place in the city, but not only responding to those scenes of emergencies where people appear to be divided, but playing a crucial role on how do we unite people and bring people together. I clearly consider him to be my partner in doing so, and I just want to thank him, and this is our way of thanking Rabbi Joseph Potasnik, the voice of reason in the city of New York and throughout the country. On behalf of all Brooklynites, 2.6 million people, we thank you for helping many families cope with the terrorist attack on September 11th, and thank you for all you have done to make our communities move forward as one Brooklyn. Rabbi Potasnik.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Borough President, I just want to say on behalf of the rabbis here, as you were speaking, we all offered the same prayer. Thank God he's not a rabbi. We'd all be out of work. So I want to acknowledge you. Secondly, I want you to know that Rabbi Cass may be a 3-star chief. Rabbi Berkowitz, you and I are 4-star. Together, but at least we're 4-star. Let me say to all of you here tonight, I happened to receive this past week from the White House an ornament. It said, "This is for your Christmas tree." And I don't have a Christmas tree, to your surprise, I'm sure. And I called Cardinal Dolan. And I said, "I just have this beautiful ornament. Would you like it for your Christmas tree at St. Patrick's?" He said, "I would like it. And let it be a lesson to everyone that only in New York, for a cardinal to have an ornament on his Christmas tree, does he need a rabbi to give it to him." And maybe that is a message for all of us, that we need each other and we have to support each other. There is one candle, as you know, that stands taller than all of the others, the shamash. Its purpose is to bring light to all of the others. It is a great honor to be here tonight with many people who symbolize that high candle, who stand tall in the community. Rabbis Cass, Rabbis Berkowitz, Rabbis Miller, people who always give to everyone else. You judge someone by the company that he or she keeps. I am honored to be in your company. Thank you so much. Would you now welcome Lieutenant Anthony Mancuso from FDNY, who speaks a better Yiddish than many of us. Do it in Yiddish.
I only know one line in Yiddish, but I'm not going to say it. It's a good thing, though. I just here tonight, we've been at the fire in Sheepshead Bay all day. Unfortunate situation. Please, the Menorah candles, the Shabbos candles, you have to stay with the candles. Make sure that they're safe. Make sure their children are safe around them. Any kind of electrical items, please, when it comes to space heaters, if they're being used, electric space heaters, plug them directly into the wall. Don't use extension cords. Don't use power strips with anything that heats or cools like that. And most of all, have a plan. Wherever you live, if you live in an apartment house, if you live in a private house, you should have a plan, and you should have a meeting place outside. Very, very important. And last, every floor, every inhabitable space in your home should have a smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. So it's the basement, living room, dining room area, the bedroom level. If there's an attic bedroom, each level that's inhabited should have a working smoke and carbon monoxide. Have a safe holiday. Thank you so much, and thank you for everything.
Before we conclude this evening, I just want to say the miracle of Hanukkah tonight in Borough Hall in this room will be if those latkes last more than 5 minutes. Some time ago, I remember being in Israel, and there was a terrible terrorist attack at a discotheque in Tel Aviv. The parents of the children who were murdered placed a monument in the square which had the following words inscribed on it: "Anachnu lo nafsik lirkod." We will not stop dancing. I think that is the message we all have to convey, that in spite of those who seek to harm us, who seek to destroy us, we will not stop celebrating our respective holiday traditions, because we are many faiths, but we also are one family. Would you please rise for the closing prayer, Rabbi Michael Miller.
As the Borough President, Rabbi Adams, spoke at the outset, the holiday, the festival of Hanukkah, is a festival of lights, and the miracle was one where there was no oil, one jug was found, and it lasted for 7 more days, lasted for 8 days as a total. And we view this as being a miracle of quantity. But there's a rabbinic view that is not a miracle of quantity, but it's a miracle of quality. That God changed the quality of that oil to not last for 1 day. That same oil lasted for 8 days. We are blessed here in the city of Brooklyn to have as our president an individual who not only has the quantity of his mind and of his deeds, but the quality of his character. God willing, over the course of this holiday and through this holiday period, we will celebrate not just the quantity of the people who live in this borough, but the quality of those who live here and those who lead this borough, both in terms of elected officials as well as uniformed personnel. May we continue to celebrate Hanukkah together in this Borough Hall for years to come and hopefully elsewhere as well. Everybody should please celebrate a wonderful Chag Sameach. To everyone, a Freilichen, a Lichtigen Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah to everybody.
Thank you so much. Enjoy. There's some still food in the back. Thank you.